What if the very concept of seeking refuge in Europe was being fundamentally rewritten as we speak?
The combination of national and European measures is the foundation for reducing migration numbers, turning people back at the border, suspension of family reunification, abolition of fast-track naturalization, limitations to the right of residency. These are the visible signs that policy has changed in Germany, the policy shift has started, and it is working.
Led by Germany. In a dramatic shift, Berlin is declaring itself the locomotive of a new hardline approach to migration. And to prove they mean business, they just sent a plane carrying 81 people back to Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, a move that has sent shockwaves through the international community. What is happening in the heart of Europe? Is this a necessary step towards a more orderly and secure immigration system, or is it the beginning of the end for the right to asylum as we know it? Stick with me for the next few minutes, because we are going to break down this major policy shift, look at the real-world actions behind the political rhetoric, and explore what this means for millions of people. By the end of this video, you will have a much clearer understanding of the monumental changes underway in the EU's approach to immigration. And if you believe in staying informed on these critical global issues, please support our channel by hitting that like button and subscribing for more updates. Alright, let's get straight to the heart of the matter. On Friday, July 18th, 2025, the interior ministers of 6 EU nations, Germany, France, Poland, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Denmark, gathered in southern Germany. Their stated goal was to forge a new, unified front on migration. The message from the host, German Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt, was blunt and unambiguous. He stated that the European Union's immigration system needed to become tougher and stricter. To emphasize Germany's new role in this push, he used a powerful metaphor, saying, "We wanted to send a signal that Germany is no longer sitting in the brakeman's cab on migration issues in Europe, but is in the locomotive." This signals a profound change. For years, Germany, particularly under former Chancellor Angela Merkel, was seen as having one of the most welcoming policies for refugees in Europe. Now the government is positioning itself as the engine driving a continent-wide crackdown. But what do these tougher and stricter rules actually look like? The ministers issued a 5-page document outlining their ambitious and highly controversial vision. Let's look at the 3 main proposals. First, the establishment of return hubs outside the EU. This is a form of what is often called externalization. The idea is to create centers in non-EU countries where migrants and asylum seekers would be held while their cases are processed or while they await deportation. Second, enabling asylum procedures in third countries. This goes hand in hand with the first point. It means a person seeking asylum in Germany or France might have their entire claim processed in a country outside of Europe altogether. This model is similar to controversial plans seen in other countries, and it raises huge legal and ethical questions about access to justice and the responsibility of wealthy nations. And third, and perhaps most startlingly, allowing deportations to Afghanistan and Syria as standard practice. This is a red line for human rights organizations. Both countries are facing catastrophic humanitarian crises, and the idea of forcibly returning people there is something that international bodies have repeatedly warned against. It's crucial to note, as Al Jazeera's reporting points out, that these are currently lofty ambitions and would require approval from the EU's central institutions in Brussels to become law. But the political direction is clear. To show that this wasn't just talk, Germany backed up its new rhetoric with immediate and decisive action. Hours before the ministerial meeting, the German government deported 81 Afghan nationals back to their homeland. This act was deeply symbolic. Following the Taliban's return to power in 2021, Germany had stopped all deportations to Afghanistan, acknowledging the dire human rights situation there. While the previous government resumed the practice on a very limited basis for convicted criminals last year, this large-scale deportation marks a significant escalation. The German government has defended its actions. Chancellor Friedrich Merz stated he was grateful to deliver on promises made when he entered government, and clarified the legal position, saying of those deported that all asylum applications were legally rejected without further legal recourse. Officials from the German states of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg added that a number of the men on the flight had been incarcerated for serious crimes, including murder, manslaughter, sexual offenses, and serious arson. This is the core of the government's justification, that they are removing individuals who have no legal right to be in Germany and, in some cases, pose a threat to public safety. However, this action has been met with a storm of criticism from human rights groups. Amnesty International immediately condemned the deportations. They described the current situation in Afghanistan as catastrophic, pointing out that extrajudicial executions, enforced disappearances, and torture are commonplace. From their perspective, returning anyone to such an environment is a violation of international obligations. The United Nations itself weighed in with a powerful rebuke. The UN Human Rights Commissioner called for an immediate halt to the forcible return of all Afghan refugees and asylum seekers, regardless of their legal status, highlighting the severe risks they face upon return. This puts two fundamental principles in direct conflict: a nation's sovereign right to control its borders and enforce its immigration laws, versus the international principle of non-refoulement, the rule that forbids returning a refugee to a country where they would be in likely danger of persecution. So what we are witnessing is a pivotal moment. Led by Germany, a powerful bloc of EU countries is trying to build a new migration framework based on deterrence, external processing, and faster returns. They argue it's necessary for security and order, but critics and human rights watchdogs warn that this new locomotive is on a track that could dismantle decades of international protection for the world's most vulnerable people. The proposals from this meeting are not yet EU law, but the political will is strong and the actions have already begun. The coming months will be critical in determining whether Europe will build higher walls or find a new way to balance control with compassion. This is a complex and evolving story, and the debate is far from over. What are your thoughts on this new, tougher approach? Is it a pragmatic solution or a dangerous precedent? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us to understand this critical issue. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories shaping our world.